Morning all. It's an absolutely beautiful morning this morning. It's around 9 degrees, so it's quite warm compared to how it's been lately. The ride today, we're expecting to be around the 100k mark, but we'll see how it goes. Meeting up with Wendy shortly. But you'll notice this morning that I've got a new cockpit. I've fitted a bar extender. I found that the handlebar was getting a bit cluttered, so not many places to rest my hands, so I decided I'd fit a bar extender. I did quite a bit of research, and the company I chose was Volo. Probably twice the price of others on the market, but it had good reviews and it looked good and it looked strong. So that's the one I went for. However, I sent a couple of emails to Volo just asking for some advice on fitting, would it fit, so on. I often do this with companies that I'm looking at buying from because it just gives some sort of idea as to how their customer service is going to be. But in this case, Volo came back to me with good information very, very quickly, and it's clear they'd read my email. Some don't, they just send generic replies. So far so good, but it got better because Volo said if I would like to review the bar extender, they'd send it to me for free. But as you know, I don't ask for anything in return for making these videos, so the odd freebie's quite nice. And of course, if I didn't like it, I was free to say so. The good folks at Volo sent me some other bits and pieces, one of which is this drinks holder. What I like about this is it just fits onto the bar extender or your handlebar, and it allows you to fit any water bottle holder. This is going to be good for me when I'm on long rides and I want to carry 3 bottles. Some of our rides we're well away from shops, so it's good to have that extra drink, especially when I'm riding in France where shop opening times seem to be very random. What I liked about the bar extender is that it's very, very firm, so I'd be happy to hang a bag from this. I do have a couple of comments to make about fitting items to the bar extender, and I'll take you through that at the end of the video. We've stopped for a little break here in Castle Bythum, and it gets its name from obviously the castle, and there's the mound that's left. That's where the keep of the castle was. I really can't remember the dates, so I'll put them up on the screen and give you a link to a bit of the history if you're interested. But I believe it was the brother of William the Conqueror that was supposed to have built it. It's Wendy again this morning.
Morning, everybody.
She wasn't feeling that good first thing, so we've been taking it steady. And then I announced that we're looking at 100k, so I think that made her feel worse. Well, we just stopped for lunch at Corby Glen, and I've done a few adjustments to the bike. And as you see now, I've actually put this bar down below the level of the main handlebar because I was finding there wasn't a lot of room when I got my gloves on. So actually this works quite nicely. The other thing I've done is I put the camera back on the handlebar, but underslung it. So that's nicely out of the way. Right, well, there was no way around that road closed, and the workmen were very kind, but they said no way could we get through. So we've had to take to the fields. And we don't really know where we're going. That detour across the public footpath is not working out, so we're back lifting the bikes over the fence again. Luckily it's a light bike.
Let me go over and take yours out of the way. Okay?
Yep. Be gentle with it. All right.
Yep. You could use Garmin this sort of thing, choosing.
We normally find that if we sweet talk people that have got road closed signs up, the workers normally let us through. But even though that guy there said he was a very keen cyclist, he said it would be too dangerous, so obviously we weren't going to get through there. So now we don't really know where we're going, but at least we're somewhere. So we've decided now that we're going to have to retrace our steps. We'll go a slightly different route, but it's just too far around the diversion, so we'll just have to reroute, and that's all right. We thought we'd done all the interwind riding, but unfortunately we're now back into wind. It's gusting up to 18 miles an hour today, so it's pretty stiff, but we can overcome. So here we are coming back through Castle Bythum again, where we showed you the castle mound earlier. So it's always a bit disappointing to be coming back the same way as you went. It's a happy hedge. Well, we're at 57 miles now, coming towards the end of the ride. It's not quite what I expected. Thought we'd probably do about 63, 64. I think Wendy's going to do that because she was a little bit further than me. She's left now, so I reckon she'll get her 100k today easily. She did well because she was suffering today, wasn't really feeling like it, so I was quite prepared to shorten the route, but she pressed on and did well. I'm happy with this bar extender, especially now I've changed the position. The only problem I'm having is the traffic camera, and I just need to rearrange the extender bar slightly. I'm going to move my Garmin to the left, and then I'll put the camera back on the handlebar because it's more stable and I think it gives a better view of the road. So once I've done that, I'll show you that tomorrow, how the layout is. So I'm going to stop talking now because I've got this hill and you don't want to hear me heavy breathing. So I'll talk to you tomorrow once I've adjusted this. But for now, I'll say goodbye. Well, that turned into a great ride, even though we had a bit of a problem halfway round. It was fine. I ended up with 60 miles and Wendy did her 100k. So all in all, it went well. It's not until you actually use an attachment to the bike that you know how well it works or not. And it was like this with the bar extender. I put it on as I thought it would work, but I soon found it wasn't ideal because my knuckles were touching it when I had my gloves on. So as you saw, partway round, I adjusted it, but it still wasn't right. I also had problems with my traffic camera wobbling about too much. But I'll show you now what I've sorted out and tell you if I'm happy or not. What I've done now is adjusted the bar extender even lower than it was. And now I can easily get my hands around the bar with my gloves on, doesn't touch it at all. And I actually like it in this position. Where the Garmin sits now, I get a good view from the seated position. You'll see I've kept the drinks holder in place. It's nice and light, doesn't add any weight, and I can pop my bottle holder on whenever I need it. Garmin now I've moved over to the left as I sit on the bike. Because it's sitting lower, it means that my traffic camera isn't impeded in any way. I've put the traffic camera back on the handlebar because I find this is the most stable position. It doesn't wobble about and it gives me a good view of the road. I've got my running light underneath the Garmin, so that's a perfect place for it to be. I angle it slightly towards the traffic. And as you can see, I've now got all this spare on this side so I can add my headlight if I wish to. You'll see that the brackets are right up against the stem, and that was necessary because any further out, as the bar was wider, they were tight, they wouldn't fit. I guess if I'd have got a longer screw they would have done, but they're just fine here. And for reference, this measurement, the bar at this point is 32 millimeters, so that's something to look out for if you're speccing one of these. The other thing you've got to be very careful of is the tightening of this. Now, this has been made of aluminium, these are cast, and the reason for that is that we need lightness. Obviously this wants to be as light as possible, but when you make something light then you compromise, and the compromise here is that if you're not careful you can overstress these joints. So you see here how the bracket connects, and if you're not careful, if you over tighten, you'll actually pull this joint apart. Now on the flip side, if you don't tighten enough, you're going to lose a screw. And I actually did lose a screw. Luckily I had a replacement. And if you lose the screw, the chances are your bracket could fall off. So what I would strongly recommend is that when you fit this, don't over tighten it. And you'll see here I can lift the bike easily with the bar extender, so it's tight enough. But I would suggest you put some thread lock on the screws. Now, I don't see this as a weakness in the product at all. I mean, it's designed to be lightweight, so if you overstress it, that's user error. That's nothing to do with the design or manufacture of the product. It must be borne in mind that this bar is only 22 millimeters, so you've got 32 millimeters here, 22 millimeters here, and it does mean that some attachments will need to have a bit more packing. Now, the drinks holder, that was fine, comes supplied with spacers, but you're talking metal on metal, so everywhere that brackets have been fitted, I've put on a wind of electrical tape, and that's making sure that there's no movement, and it's also protecting the metal. With the Garmin, I did need quite a bit more packing. I'd already got these pieces of rubber from other attachments, so that wasn't an issue at all. The traffic camera was a problem fitted to the small diameter bar. I just couldn't get the thing to be solid, so this is why it's back on the handlebars. A purchase I've made since you last saw the bike is this Restrap frame bag. I'll give it a proper review in due course once I've used it for a bit and I can genuinely make comments about it. I did buy this. It cost me £47 through Merlin Cycles. It was about the best deal I could find. It's going to be a bit tight here with the drinks holder. This one's fine. Obviously I've got the side entry there, but I can work around that, and plus I've got the bar mounted drinks holder as well, so that should be fine. One other thing I've done since last time is I've added some gel inserts under the bar tape. Now, I heated the bar tape up gently with a hairdryer just to loosen the adhesive, unwrapped it, and this is what the insert looks like. That you can cut them to size. It's given me a bit more padding on here, and more importantly I think it's given the bar a bit more width, which I wanted. It's something I'm more used to. So am I happy with the bar extender? Yes, it's a resounding yes. As long as you're careful with what I've just mentioned, then I think you'd be happy with one too. I'll put a link below to their Amazon site, and it's well worth looking at their other products as well. They have sent me a phone holder, and I'll mention that in an upcoming review, and I'll also be giving that away, so keep your eyes open for that one if you need a phone holder. So in the meantime, I'll say goodbye, and I hope you'll join me on the next one. Bye for now.